the gratitude of every
which way the wind is coming from, and they can plan their land accordingly. Because the parachute acts like a wing, they have to do what all aircraft do, and they have to turn themselves around and land into wind so they can get the maximum amount of lift from that canopy at the slowest speed.
Turning the tide of the world war by
so Popey's at the bottom, and above him in the stack today we've got Flight Sergeant Ian Netherland, Corporal Kingston Brands, down towards the DZ Safety Officer on the ground down there, Squadron Leader Van Rees, and with their flag, but due to tasking requirements, these guys haven't actually had the time to practice with the flag yet this season. So it's just the stack. So Popey's coming in, making small adjustments to his chute as he comes down, and beautiful, nicely done, guys. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard work. I can visualize simply how it works. Keeping all those controls together. Ladies and gents. I'm sure they're going to show you the noise of those beautiful Rolls-Royce turbofan engines. They could lift an empty C-130 Hercules vertically with the thrust that their engines produce. Right, this next pass is a low pass with flat. Don't know too much about flying. One of the things we need for lift, we call it the angle of attack. It's the angle that the nose is raised. As he comes through, we'll have a look at his nose up attitude. It's about 10 degrees. Thanks very much. Okay, we've got the yaks taking off in front of us, and our next display and the fast bright loitering. An observer, what does that mean and what do you do on this helicopter?
So we actually fly the where we need to be to follow the weapons.
Ladies and gents, I believe that was an example of some healthy banter there, both between the Navy and the Air Force and observers and pilots. Let's talk a little bit about this helicopter. I'm always told by the Navy that this is the most offensive aircraft that we've got here to show to you today. So what weight does this aircraft carry and how do you use it?
Okay, so the primary role is the C-spot, anti-surface.
90 degrees to the left and the right, and then a max power vertical climb. Okay, so this is good photograph moments. Showing you the front sides of the aircraft. Vertical climb to 200 feet. Nose over and bottom entries. You should see the underside of the nose over. So Christian, let's have a look at the time.
At the moment we're looking at options. One of the options is getting a rear-facing C-spot and
this is how many C-spots for New Zealand defence force operate. I can see more way, quick, someone's going to get there first, meet the red checkers down at the bottom of the stack. There we go, reverse over the shoulder transition there, that's a nice one to fly. In that particular manoeuvre, and with a lot of helicopter
here at Omaka. He knows where he's going to be flying, position the aircraft so you can see it well. Straight up into a vertical roll. The aircraft rolls about 400 degrees per second. What he's doing here is a torque roll. He's cut the smoke off so you can see the aircraft, and he's rolling backwards using the torque of the aircraft to roll the aircraft around. And eventually, like a dart, the aircraft will flop backwards towards the ground, and you'll be able to see where he is.
Now the U faction coming up from the right.
And of course, all that time he's got flying manoeuvres as well, so there's a fair bit going on.
Sorry we didn't get a chance to introduce them, but we've got 70X that are based in various parts of New Zealand. And coming from the right, we've got the Lone Ranger. There's always one in the group that's either late or non-conformist. This guy here is he's a truck driver, so nobody else wants to fly with him. You know what truck drivers are like on the road. We had a bit of a laugh about it yesterday, but he's got a sign on the back of the act that says, "If you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you." Anyway, the acts are broken into a couple of groups. We've got a red section, which is the trio out of ahead of you. They're based at Papua Nui on the Coral Mantle. People here Red leads the act team, also owns and flies his own vampire, flies the B-51 Mustang, he's Catalina training pilots, and Captain Rowan, and he's rated in the said to Peter a moment ago, we've got the theme covered today because he knows it's the Yanks and the Axe covered. It's a great mix of GA General Industry, construction owner at the rear. The four-ship, what we call a trail. The aim is to just sniff the smoke of the aircraft in front of you until you're sitting out of the wash. You don't get kicked around by the wake. Excellent guys, and Red Emily himself, the display pilot for many years, so it's really good to be part of a team that's really firm on discipline. And as we watch the Papua Nui guys coming up from the front now. Pitching up into the offset loop.
Well, it's your aeroplane moving there, gentlemen. Is it like watching a
And it's all done by hand signals, or in this case, the trail, the leader will wiggle his wings, the other pilots will drop into their allocated positions. There's no talking, only the leader's doing communicating to scratch. I haven't done anywhere near the flying these guys have done. If the opportunity comes,
You were saying you've got about 100 hours yourself in the act. How many hours would these guys have to get to the standard? Or what would be the minimum you'd need to spend in the plane to be that comfortable?
I think half the team would probably have not much more than that in terms of flying in these airplanes. Brett Emily's got a lot more, probably 600 to 800 hours, but then he's a 10 or 12,000 hour pilot. And Mike Harvey, he's flying my act, the red and white one, he flies every day for Air New Zealand, safe and don't batten. So in terms of their total hours flying, it's pretty massive. But you're not flying the act every day, you're just flying weekends.
I reckon, Jim, it's the ultimate expression of faith and trust in your colleagues, because when you're the leader of the team, you're relying on that station keeping to such a large extent, that big prop spinning around just off the elevator. I mean, that's a hell of a threat, isn't it?
Well, you've got to be careful. That's why if you get a chance to look at these airplanes later on, the bottom of the engine count is really quite sticky. And if the airplane was ready, we've got the big starburst coming up. That milk tanker drive, of course, always a bit late. But they've got the smoke on, and they'll run at the crowd, and then they'll brake, do a nice big brake. So get those big lenses ready. This is the final act of the performance. There it is. Starburst. Thank you all for having us. Wonderful.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Get them airborne.
has got a glide ratio of 60 to 1, so that's about equal to the curvature of the Earth. Theoretically, it's never happened, he could keep flying and not land. As it is, it means that he can actually fly huge distances. This glider has been owned privately by Terry Delore in the past, and Terry Delore is one of New Zealand and world champion pilots. There's a nice high-speed pass. I'm not sure exactly what you can drive a car, or even if you can't, if you're too young to drive a car, you can still learn to fly a glider. He's coming in for a landing soon, setting up, and this aircraft works exactly the same as all the other aircraft you've seen, all the same flight controls, but you know that football that bounced last night? We don't get a go around for the glider, so you've got to be precise and you've got to land it on a dime every time. So here he comes, big round of applause for Doug Hamilton please, fabulous display.
Thank you, Jill, for talking us through that just before then. Beautiful, graceful display. We look forward to a repeat of that tomorrow.
And really beautiful,
something that's only ever been seen at Omaka, twice before, since 1918.
Greg, what are the challenges in keeping these pilots current on these airplanes?
Amazing sound.
You are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the right. We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you play again. Cause we think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think Odin was done. Mr. Blow off the town on VA-21, but he comes on with evening and is ready with his gun. So watch out, Mr. Hitler, you have met your match on us. If you think you can crush us, we're afraid you miss the bus. Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think all England comes?
Two triplanes, the yellow transfer from North Island, including a lot of things you see here today, the tank, the cannon, the German staff car there, and the vintage trucks. Mention for a second, Dean's Lifting is a company that has supported this air show for many years. Unfortunately,
unfortunately, leading up to the show after Dean's, the power behind the throne, as it were, passed away. And so we're very, very sad to see that. So much support. Arthur was a really...
He's 5, he's up here at the top of the gold pass and he's lost his dad. So if you're Henry's dad, this is where he is, just up on the top near the commentary tower. Just repeating that, Henry and the Orange Floral. This current team for the Roaring 40s. The checkered cowl power to see there. Frank joined the RNTA after 1970 as a very young man, and he actually managed to capture the final 7 odd years up the harbour. He went on to Lotus formation.
Look at the 3 ships there for a Cuban break.
Who plays Nicole, Amelia plays Bella. They were both on the field last night and they're both on the field today.
And it cost about 30 miles an hour, 50 k's an hour in airspeed, but it was worth not having to turn that crank twice 140
Formerly with the Royal Australian Air Force and flew on for many years later with a company called Brand and Brown, who operated a number of commercial roles with the aircraft, and it's basically the reason why
Bowled off when he was home. Robin handled a lot of the paper, I think all the paperwork for the thing, and that, as we know, would be very extensive.
As recently as 2 years ago.
Waiting to hand you out your prize. So, the question is, where is the 109 fly? This particular aircraft type is called the CT4 Air Trainer, and it's New Zealand built. It's been in service with the RNZF since the 1970s, and this particular one is the E model, which replaced the old B model in 1998.
They'll be happy to know that you saw me home.
His first season displaying with the checkers, he was checkers. So what he's trying to do there is get around that 360 degrees as quickly as possible. And during that manoeuvre, boys and girls, he will have been pulling. Okay, the 4 are back. Now this barrel roll by the look of it, so that's a combined pitching and rolling manoeuvre. So tail chasing, like quite a lot of what we do in display flying, dates back to dog fighting and air combat manoeuvring. And the point of this one is to try and put your aircraft through exactly the same point in the sky as the one in front of you. Now it's great when we fly it as a display manoeuvre because of course we get the smoke to see the trails of the aircraft in front, and that's what makes it Right, the three are going to come right in front of us again, and then from behind us, you're going to have here 4 and 5 that are setting up. Here they come, diving down out of the sun as 3 vacate. 4 and 5, the secret pair, will be performing one of the most popular aerobatic. Half of Checkers 5, Jimmy Davison, have dedicated this one to all the young single ladies out there. Number 2 in the mirror is Stuart Anderson, again, another first timer for the Checkers. He was recently posted CFS and Stu used to fly Hueys on Free Squadron. Okay, they're going to You can see how they have to slightly offset for the wind there, left to right. Nice, that's hard work today up there. See CFS again, this is his 2nd year running. He's a local boy, Marlborough Boy's ex-head boy, and has strong family connections to this particular airfield where he actually started his flying. Certainly the Oliver Bint. He's extremely proud to be here displaying for you today, ladies and gents, and especially because his mum is down in the audience with our kids. The signature way of ending their display as they fly down towards us. They're going to start diving down for some speed and the smoke's on. Cameras at the ready for the spaghetti break. Ladies and gentlemen, the Royal New Zealand Air Force Red Checkers display team. Quite small in the back, maximum of 9 passengers in the Huey. But the NH90, and this is one of the reasons that we acquired this particular type, it can take up to 20 troops in the shorter than we're used to. Okay, a little backwards climb here. Turning around, nose to the ground, give him a big wave, everybody. And this is going to be a rearwards climbing departure as he raises the gear. He's been undergoing a period of recall, operational test.
And at the price of only $100 a seat as well, or $80 for a child.
In the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to explain big achievement. These people greet us so warmly here in New Zealand. I wanted to say thank you.
Movie star stuff we're talking here.
Air shows in the United Kingdom and France and some in Germany, but this is the best I've ever seen. And
It's pretty special thing.
I'm really glad.
Thank you.
Not yet. Not yet. The first time. My interest doesn't lay so much in checks.
You're welcome. Right up it's one of the iconic World War II
Is operated by the Royal New Zealand Air Force. It's been their most prolific time.
Everyone is speaking. I know such enchantment. unhappy.
They were produced between 1942 and 1953, and they wheeled out a total of 12,500.
That certain night, the night we met, there was magic abroad again. There were angels shining.
Nice and quick. They had a maximum speed of 362 knots, which equates to going about 600.
I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm perfectly willing to swear that when you turn.
I'm a 6 foot tall person, and I can walk right underneath the ceiling without having to be really small looking in the sky, but very big.
Going to be considerable. Taking all the displays and the ferrying, 2 displays and what have you.
It's got to know in their mind to be able to fly these time out of the country. Says Mum. Usually comes through here, stop at Havelock, where he would land on the local strip, spend a bit of time with the sounds, and head on. So the airplane's been a real catalyst by the Poles to be used in the Wilga, and also by the Russians, by the Hussar company, to power the nav chain. So very, very popular engine, very successful radial unit, and it made sense for Curtis Spitz to design an airframe around this very, very capable engine. As I said, 360 horsepower. Curtis Spitz was designing this airplane in his 79th year and presented it on the occasion of his 80th birthday, so quite something. That was 1995. Since then, quite a number have been built. And this one was built by John Eden and it's done a magnificent job building it. We were actually expecting to have it at our last show in 2011, and just before Richard was due to bring it down, they had I'm not sure if it was an explosion or